Hey folks, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, we have some very big news. The Senate Finance Committee just announced a hearing next Wednesday, October 1st at 10 a.m. on crypto taxes. So the witnesses will include folks from Coinbase, Coin Center, some law firms. So this is very interesting. And one of the things I tweeted about today was if the United States is able to pass some incentives as it relates to crypto taxes, like being able to spend crypto, anything below a certain threshold, there's no taxes, or reduce taxes on capital gains or things like that. That could really be bullish for the remainder of the bull market because if it's passed and if they put it into, let's say, the Clarity Act, once again, would be really great and can be a major narrative that just drives us into a more parabolic move. And let's see what the takeaways and what the discussion is here, but nevertheless, very interesting. And this is one to keep an eye on because taxes, that's a big part of investment, right? The tax man comes to collect, and capital gains taxes, I've often said, are highway robbery by the government. You take your already taxed dollars, you invest in it, you take the risk, you make some returns, and the government takes a big chunk of it. That really sucks, right? But if they're able to offer some sort of crypto tax exemption or incentive, that would be very bullish for the market. Now, moving ahead, Flare has officially launched Fxrp on mainnet. So the day is finally here, folks. You got XRP, part of the F-Assets launch, and you will be able to do a lot with DeFi on the Flare network. You can use XRP as collateral, liquidity, and earn yield in DeFi. So this is really big. I'm going to be testing some of this out and I'll let you guys know how it goes. I'm very bullish on Flare. I hold a Flare token. Many of you know I hold XRP as well. So just a huge day that a lot of people have been waiting for. Flare, they put out a full write-up on this. The headline is F assets are live. XRP meets DeFi on Flare. So you can put your assets to work. Unlike proof of stake blockchains and proof of stake coins like Ethereum and Solana, there's no natively built-in yield. But with DeFi enabled here for XRP, you'll be able to put your assets to work. And let's say you're holding the asset long-term, or you want to lock it up short term to get some yield, this is a great opportunity. Most recently, I interviewed the co-founder and CEO of Flare, Hugo Filion, along with Jesus Rodriguez of Firelight, which is working with Flare to enable XRP staking. If you haven't seen that interview, make sure you check it out. It was published just last week, and it covers a lot of what's happening in the crypto space. And they answer a lot of the questions many folks have about how you set all of this up, the security and much more, right? Because we want to make sure all of these things are secure. So this is really great. I think a huge day for both Flare and XRP. And many of you know Flare, they are going to expand this to Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Stellar Lumens, Litecoin as well. So I'm really excited about this. And once again, I'll be testing it out and seeing how it works, getting familiar with it. I'm not going to put a ton of XRP on immediately. I always tell you guys version 1.0 of anything, you want to make sure you take your time, don't go dump up all your XRP on this. I think start with a small amount, see how it works, get comfortable with it, and then you can slowly continue to add more XRP assets and other assets once they launch it. So huge day here, folks. Years in the making. Folks, quick word from our sponsor, and that is Uphold. Uphold is a great crypto platform I've been using since 2018. They have 300 plus cryptocurrencies on their platform: XRP, Flare, Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, guys. So you can find all the top cryptocurrencies here, and they offer staking on 20 plus crypto assets. Now, once again, I've been using Uphold for many years. I've never had any issues or any problems. I've interviewed the founders, the CEOs. This is a well-oiled machine. They do a lot of great work. And folks, they are 100% secure. They don't commingle or lend out your crypto funds. They're reserved, so you can review their transparency report on their site. And they have a great rewards program called Uphold Rewards, where you can earn up to 5.25% on stablecoins, and you get 24-hour early access to new tokens. Now, the stablecoins they support are Ripple's RLUSD, you earn up to 5% there, and USBC, you earn up to 5.25% there. And to participate, you simply have to open the app once per month, deposit $50 once per month, and trade $50 once per month. Pretty simple. So they have a ton more services and so forth that you can check out. So, folks, check out the link in the description to learn more. Now, moving ahead, Coinbase, Sony, and Samsung. Wow, some big names there. Back stablecoin startup Bastion in $14.6 million raise. Now, Coinbase, you would expect that is a crypto exchange. They have a venture arm, but Sony and Samsung. Tech electronic makers getting involved in crypto. We know Sony, they launched their own blockchain called Sonium. So adoption is happening at a rapid pace here. So let me give you the details. Stablecoin infrastructure startup Bastion has raised $14.6 million in a funding round led by Coinbase Ventures, the company said Wednesday. According to a Wednesday announcement, the round saw the participation of Japanese tech giant Sony, the investment subsidiary of South Korean phone maker Samsung, the crypto arm of venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, and crypto VC firm Hashed, if I'm saying that right. Bastion is developing a platform that allows companies to issue stablecoins without securing their own licenses or building custom infrastructure. That's pretty incredible. I think that's technology that's definitely needed for folks who want to launch their own stablecoin, but they don't want to do anything major where they need to get money transmitter licenses and much more. So I think that's a smart move. And once again, look at the people involved here, right? A16Z, Sony, Samsung, Coinbase. So the startup has now raised around $40 million. Bastion closed a $25 million funding round led by Andreessen Horowitz in September 2023. The company said at the time it had been building in stealth mode for months before the raise. Incredible stuff here, guys. We're seeing innovation. Now that the Genius Act has been passed, which is a stablecoin legislation, you're going to see a lot of building and innovation in the stablecoin space, a lot of investments as well. And here's a clear example. And once again, look at the names. Again, if you know somebody who is a skeptic of crypto, who doesn't get it, they're on the fence, send these news items to them, right? Because look who is involved. These people recognize what's happening, and there's still millions and billions of retail who don't get it. They haven't taken that next step to educate themselves and go beyond just the price movements, right? Don't get me wrong, price is important. We're invested. We talk a lot about that. We all have financial goals, but the adoption, the building, the on-ramps will all lead to higher prices, right? And this is an opportunity of a lifetime. And I think a lot of people are going to miss it because they read mainstream headlines. They don't take the next step to go educate themselves. Now, folks, last week, Gary Gensler went on CNBC and he was spreading FUD about crypto. We covered it on the podcast. And I said, watch out, Elizabeth Warren won't be far behind. That train is never late. The two of them are two peas in a pod, right? And we know they're being lobbied by the banking cartel. And we know the banks are trying to change the language in the Genius Act. So this is a coordinated effort. And here's the first move by Elizabeth Warren. Democratic Senators Elizabeth Warren and Alyssa Slotkin are demanding an investigation into whether Trump officials broke ethics rules as Trump's family crypto firm, World Liberty Financial, secured a $2 billion UAE investment. But of course, she won't be investigating Gary Gensler with the deleted text because she was colluding with him, right? Of course, she's not going to provide the data about Operation Chokepoint 2.0, which she was heading up, her and her cronies across the crypto industry. Of course not, right? So the game of politics is playing out here. We know Warren is going to ramp up as the Clarity Act is in the Senate. Most likely, she's going to try to put up roadblocks and cause a mess. But I think more Democrats are on board with this. They see Elizabeth Warren. She helped lose the election, the presidential election, with her anti-crypto nonsense. Remember, crypto was the largest spender in the presidential election. Crypto got folks unseated, like Sherrod Brown, who was, the top general in Elizabeth Warren's anti-crypto army. So recently, we saw about 12 Senate Democrats. They've been releasing their own version of the Clarity Act. They've been engaging with the Republican colleagues and much more. So Elizabeth Warren, they've already lost, right? She's going to do her thing because she's getting lobbied by the banks. So she's going to do her thing, but it's not going to work. It's over. They've already lost. And Gensler crawling out from under his rock last week same thing I said, right? Nobody cares about Gensler anymore. He's already lost. If you recall, the reporters were roasting him. Like, people are so happy you're gone and the new chair is in place and much more. So, but look at this. Kraken donates $2 million to pro crypto groups as the fight for crypto continues. So if any Democrat or Republican wants to be anti-crypto, they're going to get their asses handed to them again. And I hope the crypto industry doesn't have to put a ton of money because, like I said, I think a lot of folks learned their lesson in that election that happened, in 2024. But I think crypto companies are not playing around. They're still putting the monies into the PACs and preparing for any, Elizabeth Warren type of candidates, whether they be in the Senate or the House or whatever it may be. So Kraken here pledging some money, and I know Coinbase, they've got Stand with Crypto, and they're ready to do their thing. All right, moving ahead. Speaking of Kraken, Crypto.com executives to attend the SEC CFTC harmonization event. So, folks, we are seeing huge collaboration between the two agencies. The SEC has Project Crypto, the CFTC has Crypto Sprint, and they've been doing an amazing job. Kudos to both sides. And they're engaging with the crypto industry. There are roundtables being held and much more. So, let me give you the details. So, executives from a few cryptocurrency companies will speak on panels to discuss regulatory harmonization efforts between the two U.S. financial regulators next week. In a Wednesday notice, the SEC said it would host a roundtable event with the CFTC on Monday as part of efforts to coordinate on financial regulation, including cryptocurrencies. Representatives from cryptocurrency exchange Kraken and Crypto.com, as well as prediction markets Kalshi and Polymarket, will speak on panels. Though focused on bridging regulation between the two agencies, the roundtable event will be held amid a lack of leadership at the CFTC. So we know that Commissioner Pham is like the last commissioner standing, and she's the acting chair. And the Brian Canton's confirmation, unfortunately, is getting roadblocked in many ways. So hopefully the CFTC can get some things in order. So, but I think she's still doing a great job at being kind of the lone woman there, from a commissioner standpoint, of course. Obviously, the CFTC has staff, but they need to get some commissioners in there. But great to see progress here. All of this will provide clearer guidelines and allow more capital to come into the market. Now, many of you may have seen my post today. I interviewed SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce at my studio in New York. Had a great conversation with her. I mean, we talked about the SEC versus Ripple case, meme coins tokenization, Project Crypto, altcoin ETFs, and the new setup the SEC has where, I actually got educated today that the SEC, with the new guidelines they put out last week, doesn't require futures. So before that, the setup was you needed to have the futures. Now they can approve HBAR ETF, Cardano ETF. You don't need to have a futures market. So this is really a great conversation, guys. The interview is going to be published next week. It's one of my best interview with her. One could argue maybe, the one where I talked to her about the Howey test and the oranges when the SEC versus Ripple case was filed. But this was a good one, because we reflected on a lot of the things that happened over the past 4 years, especially like the Ripple case and the implications of Judge Torres's ruling and much more. So guys, you don't want to miss that. Make sure you are subscribed with the notification bell enabled, and you can catch the episode on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple, and things like that. So really great conversation. Moving ahead, Canton Network. See how this name keeps popping up, guys? Remember, I interviewed the CEO of Digital Asset, which is working on the Canton Network, and this is backed by Goldman Sachs, Citadel, and a lot of big banks, and a lot of big banks are participating on it. It's a privacy-focused public blockchain, so it's pretty unique. But, well, here's the news. Canton Network taps Chainlink as super validator, integrates oracles and CCIP. Many of you know I'm bullish on Chainlink. I hold it in my portfolio. I think it's going to do well in this bull market cycle, not financial advice. And I keep telling you all, Chainlink is not only getting adoption from real world companies, but also a lot of blockchain networks based on the services they provide. So I've said many times as well, when Canton Network launches their token, that's a token I'm going to look to invest in. And I'll let you guys know if I do add it to my portfolio, but definitely check it out. Not financial advice. Do your research, of course. So Chainlink has integrated with the Canton Network, an institutional blockchain backed by global banks and technology firms, in a move aimed at strengthening institutional adoption of blockchain technology. The partnership announced Wednesday brings Chainlink's data service, including its data streams, smart data, and the cross-chain interoperability protocol onto the Canton network. The network has also joined the Chainlink Scale program, which helps cover Oracle operating costs. As part of the agreement, Chainlink Labs will become a Canton Network super validator. A super validator is a combined node that runs a domain validator and a Canton synchronizer node. It participates in the global synchronizer to order and finalize cross-domain transactions, providing consensus and interoperability across a network. So, folks, if you want to learn about the Canton Network, check out my interview from a couple weeks ago with Yuval Ruse. And he is once again, the founder and CEO of Digital Asset. That's the name of the firm. And they are the creators of the Canton Network. So check that out, folks. All right, final news item here. Thumzup, yes, that's the name of the company, approves $10 million share repurchase plan ahead of Dogecoin mining acquisition. So digital asset treasury companies continue to expand, and they're even going to Dogecoin. I don't know how this is going to end. I've been saying there's a bit of a bubble forming here. I'm not calling for anybody to collapse. I don't want anything bad to happen, but I just see warning signs that we've seen in traditional finance, a lot of leverage, putting everybody's trying to jump on this trend, and some may not, last the bear market. So digital ad company Thumzup Media announced Wednesday its board of directors has approved a $10 million share repurchase program through December 31st, 2026, which comes in addition to its previously announced $1 million share buyback program. As of September 19th, Thumzup had repurchased 212,432 shares of its common stock for approximately $1 million at a weighted average price of $4.71 per share, the company said in a release. So Thumzup holds 19.106 Bitcoins and approximately 7.5 million Dogecoins, according to Wednesday's release. It is currently awaiting shareholder approval to acquire Doge Hash Technologies, a Dogecoin mining operation with 2,500 rigs in place and another 1,000 scheduled for delivery later this year. Now, it's good they have some Bitcoin. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but they got a lot of Dogecoin here. And look, it may work out very well because we've seen Dogecoin has done well so far this bull market. It's still in the top 10, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull it up here and see. But it's a meme coin. It's going to be, yeah, Dogecoin's number 8 now. I mean, that's pretty good. And there's a huge brand behind it. But, should a company add it to its balance sheet? I don't think that's the smartest idea. But hey, everybody's got to do their thing here. And you got to do your risk assessment. So, folks, that's the news. Progress continues to be made. We're seeing a lot of adoption, and patience is the key as the market does its thing right now. You all know what I've been saying, right? Bears are in control. Let Bitcoin go to the oversold zone. Let the sentiment reset and set us up for a blast off in Q4. Just be patient. Some of you may be new to investments. You want absolutes. You want a crystal ball prediction, but we got to look at all scenarios as educated investors. And I think the higher probability, based on what we're seeing with global liquidity hitting new highs, the stock market hitting new highs, this bull market's not over. There's still more to go. And the whales and the market makers want to shake you out and then have you FOMO back in as the prices start melting faces. So we haven't seen the euphoric blow off top yet, and crypto legislation's on the table. There's just huge narratives. I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast that hearing next week on crypto taxes, something big could come out of that, and once again add fuel to the fire for this bull market. So be patient. Be patient, guys. That's the important part. Leave your emotions at the door. Don't be emotional. Be educated. All right, folks. If you appreciate this content, be sure to subscribe to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free. Link will be in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital, and my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you everything about crypto. So check it out, folks. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.